Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife. In today's McDojo news, we're going to talk about how a Pennsylvania Taekwondo instructor was recently arrested for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl during private lessons. Let's check out the story. A Taekwondo instructor has been charged with sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl during private lessons at a Pennsylvania martial arts studio. Stephen Charles Berniski, age 22, is suspected of assaulting the teenage student on multiple occasions at a studio in Heidelberg. Police did not specifically name the studio involved, however, the suspect previously worked as an instructor at Steel City ATA Martial Arts. He was arrested Friday and taken to Allegheny County Jail, where he is being held while he awaits arraignment, according to Allegheny County Police Department. Berniski faces 7 felony charges, including sexual assault, deviant sexual intercourse, unlawful contact with a minor, statutory sexual assault by a sports official or volunteer, dissemination to minors, and corruption of minors. He also faces 5 counts of indecent assault, according to charging documents. Detectives launched their investigation into the 4th-degree black belt and Taekwondo champion on March 9th after the alleged victim's mother discovered sexually explicit text messages with Berniski on her daughter's phone. Berniski became the girl's Taekwondo instructor in 2024 and began showing inappropriate physical affection towards her last summer, the complaint stated. Investigators claim the alleged sexual assault started early this year. The victim told police that she met Berniski in summer of 2024 after she started attending his Taekwondo classes. She claimed their interactions became more intimate last summer when Berniski started giving her hugs and kissing her on the lips, the complaint said. By the start of 2026, the pair's relationship had evolved and they would kiss every day during their private lessons at the studio, she told police. They would cuddle while watching anime cartoons on his cell phone, and he would kiss her chest, legs, and stomach, the court filing alleged. The pair began having intercourse or oral sex in February, the charging document said. She alleged that they had sex during approximately half of their weekly visits and that every sexual act between them took place at the studio. Berniski's employment at Steel City ATA Martial Arts ended last month, according to a March 10th email. The studio wrote, in part, that, quote, due to some private and unfortunate events that occurred recently, Mr. Berniski is no longer employed with us. Studio officials declined to disclose further details about the situation. Berniski was featured several times on the Steel City ATA Martial Arts Facebook page, with the studio hailing his accomplishments in the sport. On May of 2024, officials congratulated him on winning the Pennsylvania State Championship in traditional weapons. There are also multiple photos and videos of him working with students. Berniski appears to have a long history with Steel City ATA, with the studio even celebrating his accomplishments as a student in June of 2019 when he was preparing to compete in the Northeast District Championships. Community members say they were, quote, shocked to learn of the alleged assault, and at least one has called for Berniski to spend significant time behind bars. Dude, I'm like shocked, considering the police department is right there. The council building is the same building. How does someone get away with this? Joyce Tenney, whose relatives train at the studio, said. He should go to jail for a relatively decent amount of time and should never be allowed to be able to work with children, she added. Tenney has also urged parents to ensure their children are never alone with just one instructor. Let's unpack that. So this Taekwondo instructor who worked for ATA was taking advantage of a student during private lessons. Obviously, he's in the wrong. I hope that he spends a significant amount of time behind bars. It's ridiculous that any martial arts instructor would take advantage of a minor in this way. But with that said, where the hell are the ATA policies that help prevent this from happening? If you're a large franchise like ATA is, you would imagine that there should be put in place checks and balances to make sure this doesn't happen. Security cameras on site, at least one other person in the room during private lessons. Never private lessons alone inside the studio with a student one-on-one. These are very easy, low-hanging fruits. Now, if ATA does have that policy, but the owner of this particular school did not follow through on said policy, that's on them too. Now, from the sounds of it, this isn't the owner of the school. From the sounds of it, this is someone who was a student who became an instructor at the studio. So where are the policies? Where is the safeguarding for the student? This is very, very, very simple day one basic stuff. And yet here we are again, over and over and over again, covering these stories of these people who do these horrific things when they are so easy to prevent. Parents, where are you? Why on earth Would you ever leave your teenage daughter alone with an instructor for that amount of time? Why are there not cameras on site in these facilities? What is going on? This brings us to the question of the day. Question of the day is brought to you by Academy Safe. A lot of people are not aware of this, but in order to start a martial arts facility in the United States, you do not need anything. You don't need background check, CPR, first aid. You don't need anything to start a martial arts school in the United States. Academy Safe is trying to change that by uplifting and putting on a pedestal the schools who do go above and beyond by getting CPR, first aid, background checks, cameras on site, defibrillators, etc. So if you're trying to make sure that you or your child are in a studio that is safe, make sure it's Academy Safe. What policies do you think should be mandatory at any martial arts studio, period, regardless of the style? I'm highly curious about your answer for that. Be sure to answer the question of the day so that way I know you watched the entire video, but also so we can have a good solid dialogue about ways to make the industry safer. As always, thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and of course, memberships. Keep the martial arts legit.
Got robbed the other day by degenerates. So she wanted to learn some new form of this self-defense. So she did her research and perused it online and found this dude said he could move shit with his mind. He called himself Seafood Paul Zimmerman. He got a dojo with a strip mall near Cinnabon. Now she spends all day trying to